Are aliens real? Actually, the better question to ask is it an alien or is it just a weather balloon? Because I swear that's been the common misconception nowadays. Throughout all the alien sightings ever recorded in history, there have only been a few compelling ones that make us certain it wasn't just a weather balloon. So without further ado, here are your top 10 terrifying alien encounter stories that stunned scientists. I'm your host Andrew, and let's get right into this list. Coming in at a number 10 spot, we have the ARIEL school UFO incident. On September 16, 1994, there was a sighting of a UFO outside Rua, Zimbabwe. 69 students at the ARIEL school, aged between 6 and 12, saw one or more silver crafts descend from the sky and land on a field near their school. Here are some of the pictures that the kids drew after researchers requested when it was still, quote, fresh on their mind. So apparently creatures dressed in black then approached the children and telepathically communicated an environmental message. After the children told their teachers what they had seen, they were dismissed, but when they told their parents, many of them came to school the next day to discuss what had happened with the faculty. The sighting was reported on ZBC radio, from where Cynthia Hin learned about it. The BBC correspondent in Zimbabwe then visited the school on 19th of September to film interviews with pupils and the staff. And then after investigating the incident, the correspondent claimed, quote, "I could handle war zones, but I could not handle this." Harvard University professor John Mack visited the ARIEL school in November as well to interview some of the witnesses. Mack had a particular interest in the alien abduction phenomenon. He then interviewed children 2 months after the alleged sighting and found out that between 1 and 4 creatures with big eyes and dressed in all black approached the children altogether. At a number 9 spot, we have the Barney and Betty Hill case. Barney and Betty Hill were an American couple who claimed that they were abducted by extraterrestrials in a rural area of New Hampshire in September 1961. The couple was driving back to Portsmouth from their vacation in Niagara Falls and Montreal when Betty claimed that she observed a very bright light in the sky. At first, she believed it to be a falling star, but when the light grew bigger and brighter, they stopped their car to take a closer look. Through binoculars, Betty observed an odd-shaped craft with multicolored lights, while Barney saw what he thought was a commercial airliner. But when the craft rapidly descended towards them, Barney realized it was not a plane at all. The couple watched as the silent, illuminated craft moved erratically and bounced back and forth in the night sky. Later, the object descended rapidly towards their vehicle, causing Barney to stop in the middle of the highway. Barney, carrying his pistol in his pocket, stepped away from the vehicle and moved closer to the object. Then, using his binoculars again, he claimed to have seen humanoid figures peering out of the craft's windows wearing glossy black uniforms and black caps. They seemed to be looking at him and in unison, all but one moved to what appeared to be a panel on the rear wall of the hallway that encircled the front portion of the craft. The one remaining figure communicated a message to Barney, telling him to, quote, "Stay where you are and keep looking." The silent craft approached what Barney estimated was within 50 to 80 feet overhead and 300 feet away from him. At a number 8 spot, we have the Rendlesham Forest incident. Known as Britain's Roswell, the Rendlesham Forest incident is one of the most famous UFO reports of all time. The reason? Well, because the witnesses involved in the December 1980 event were in fact US military personnel and considered highly credible witnesses. So the US Air Force Base in Woodbridge, England experienced a UFO encounter that later made international headlines. The incident involved a group of American airmen who claimed they saw an alien spaceship in Rendlesham Forest, which surrounds the Air Force Base. According to the airmen, the craft came down from over the trees and landed in a blinding explosion of light. They tried to approach it, but it moved away from them as though under intelligent control. The following day, landing marks were found on the ground, burns were seen on the nearby trees, and radiation traces were recorded. The News of the World, a UK tabloid, broke the story in October 1983, and it was soon revealed that the informant was a former US airman named Larry Warren. At a number 7 spot, we have the flying saucer in Australia. The events that transpired on April 6, 1966 at Westall High School in Melbourne, Australia left over 300 students and teachers in awe as they witnessed an identified flying object in the sky. This otherworldly sighting was not a mere hallucination, but rather a shared experience that had students and staff alike seeing a, quote, round hump object with a flat base being circled by what appeared to be a light aircraft. The UFO was described as being gray or silver gray in color, but the exact height and duration of its appearance remains a mystery to this day. Adding to the confusion, there were more conflicting reports as to whether there was one UFO or multiple objects hovering above the school. While some people claimed to have seen 3 saucer-like objects, others insisted that there was just one. The situation was made even more perplexing by a newspaper report from the 1960s, which stated that some children had collapsed and became ill with fright at the sight of the UFO. One witness to the event, Mr. Andrew Greenwood, who was a science teacher at the time, claimed that he saw a mechanical object intelligently controlled hovering above me. The sighting lasted for approximately 20 minutes, during which time witnesses reported that 5 planes surrounded the UFO, appearing to attempt to hurt it up before the object eventually flew away. At a number 6 spot, we have the Gulf Breeze 6. The Gulf Breeze UFO incident was a series of UFO sightings in Gulf Breeze, Florida in 1987 and 1988. The story began when local contractor Ed Walters claimed to have been briefly immobilized by a blue beam on November 11, 1987, and he captured 5 Polaroids of this object. He then claimed to have taken 32 more photographs and even videotaped the UFO over multiple visits. Walter further claimed to have seen the UFO land on Sunside Drive and deposit 5 aliens on the road. He even reported the aliens communicated with him in both English and Spanish, as well as showing him a book with pictures of dogs, and even lifted him 3 feet off the ground with a blue beam of light. The Gulf Breeze Sentinel published photographs supplied by Walters claiming to show the UFO, but many believe that the images to be hoax. In 1990, after Walters and his family moved out of their house, the new owners discovered a styrofoam model UFO hidden in the attic. In the hub of our list, we have the Maury Island incident. The Maury Island incident is a mysterious event that occurred on June 21st, 1947 in Puget Sound, Washington. 2 men, Fred Chrisman and Harold Dahl, claimed to have seen unidentified flying objects in the sky that night, followed by falling debris and threats from men in black. This incident happened during the height of the 1947 flying disc craze, which began when private pilot Kenneth Arnold claimed to have seen 9 shiny unidentified flying objects flying near Mount Rainier. The incident gained nationwide news coverage and led to the popular descriptive terms flying saucer and flying disc for UFOs. Then after Arnold's report, he was contacted by Raymond A. Palmer, who is an editor of the fringe sci-fi magazine Amazing Stories. Palmer relayed the story of 2 Harborman patrolmen in Tacoma who reportedly possessed fragments of a flying saucer. And on June 28th, Palmer wired $200 to Arnold to fund the investigation. Arnold then interviewed Harold Dahl, the person I mentioned before, who claimed to have seen 6 large donut-shaped aircraft and that one of them spewed thousands of newspapers made of lightweight metal. Dahl also claimed that a substance resembling lava rocks fell onto their boat, killing a dog and breaking a worker's arm. Dahl reported that he was later approached by a man in a dark suit who told him not to talk about the incident at all or else face severe consequences. Number 4, the USS Nimitz encounter. In November 2004, something strange and unexplainable was witnessed by crew members aboard the USS Princeton, a part of the USS Nimitz carrier strike group off the coast of San Diego. For 2 weeks, the crew had been tracking unidentified objects on the radar that would suddenly appear at 80,000 feet and then quickly descend to hover right above the Pacific Ocean. 2 FA-18F fighter jets from the aircraft carrier US Nimitz were sent to investigate the strange phenomenon. When they arrived, they saw something very bizarre. What appeared to be churning water with a shadow of an oval shape underneath the surface. Suddenly, a white tic-tac shaped object emerged from the water, hovering in the air around 50 feet above it. The object had no visible markings to indicate an engine, wings, or even windows. Black Ace Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Jim Slott of Strike Fighter Squadron 41 attempted to intercept this craft by going down towards it. And when they were just a few meters away, it accelerated at an incredible speed, appearing on radar 60 miles away within seconds. Number 3, the Stephenville sightings. Stephenville, Texas, a quaint town 100 miles southwest of Dallas, is known for its dairy farms and tranquil surroundings. However, on the evening of January 8, 2008, the skies above this sleepy town were the stage of a truly remarkable event. Dozens of residents reported seeing an unusual phenomenon as white lights appeared above Highway 67, first in a single horizontal arc, then in vertical parallel lines. The sheer size of these strobe lights were mind-boggling, spanning a massive 1.5 miles wide, traveling at a speed of 3,000 miles per hour. One witness, local pilot Steve Allen, could hardly believe his eyes, stating that the lights were unlike anything he had ever seen before. Despite the immense size and speed of the object, there was no sound to be heard. The event immediately caused a buzz among the townspeople, with many people drawing comparisons to the infamous Phoenix Light sightings of 1997. Number 2, the lights above the New Jersey Turnpike. On July 14, 2001, something extraordinary happened that left motorists on New Jersey Turnpike mesmerized. For 15 minutes just after midnight, drivers stopped their vehicles along the highway to witness strange lights in the sky. The lights, which were in a V-shaped formation, appeared to be orange and yellow and were hovering over the Arthur Kill waterway between Staten Island, New York, and New Jersey. The bizarre sighting was not limited to just the New Jersey Turnpike. Other people from the Throgs Neck Bridge on Long Island and Fort Lee, New Jersey, near the George Washington Bridge, also reported seeing the same lights. Despite the air traffic controllers denying any association of the sighting with airplanes, military jets, or even space flights, the New York SPI claimed that the Federal Aviation Administration radar data validated the UFO sightings from that night. This suggested that the lights witnessed by the public were not just an optical illusion, but something out of the ordinary. Coming in at a number 1 spot, we have the O'Hare International Airport saucer. On a seemingly ordinary day on November 7, 2006, United Airlines Flight 446 was preparing to take off from Chicago's bustling O'Hare International Airport. However, what happened next was far from ordinary. As the United Airlines employee on the tarmac was performing their duties, they noticed a mysterious dark gray metallic craft hovering over gate C-17. The sighting was not isolated, as a total of 12 United employees and a few witnesses outside the airport also spotted the saucer-shaped craft around 4:15 p.m. that day. According to the witnesses, the craft hovered in the sky for approximately 5 minutes before suddenly shooting upwards. Its ascension was so forceful that it broke a hole in the clouds, revealing the blue sky. The incident was so compelling that the news report became the most read story on the Chicago's Tribune website to that date and made international headlines as well. Many conspiracy theorists believe the FAA's lack of investigation indicates a government cover-up to conceal the existence of extraterrestrial life. Others suggest that the sighting was simply a high-tech drone or even an experimental aircraft developed by the US government. Well, these are the top 10 terrifying alien encounter stories that stun scientists. What do you guys think about this list? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts and some suggestions for some future videos. I want to know. I'm your host Andrew, and be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a future video again. Hope you guys have a scary day.